find Canva apps, it's really easy. If you've not used Canva apps before, you come to the home screen and you can click on the apps section here, and then that's going to show you all of the apps. You find one that you want to use. Let's say you want to use this screen one. You can either use it in an existing design or you can use it in a new design. The other way is once you're in a design, and I've just got an image on here, you can come over to the apps section and then find your apps that you want to use. You can either discover them, or if it's an app you've used before, you can come on here and you can click on your apps. We're just going to go with the discover option on here. First app I want to show you is Croppy Choppy. So we're just going to come in, start typing in crop, and it's called Croppy Chop, not Croppy Choppy. I always want to call it Croppy Choppy. I feel like that would be such a much better name, but it's going to call it Croppy Chop, Choppy Crop. Get it right now. Croppy Chop. No, Choppy Crop. It's called Choppy Crop. Okay, we're going to click on that. We're going to click on Choppy Crop. We then have to come in and select the design we want to actually edit. I'm going to click on this one that I've got on the design here. Actually, let's click on the second one. I'm going to leave the original one up there so we can see where we go from and to using some of these apps in the design today. And then all you do is you can then just click around your image and it creates kind of like an outline. Now, if you wanted to, you could just follow all the way around, leaving a little bit of the edge on there. But let's say we wanted to come all the way back and crop kind of like a diagonal option on here. You then click on the final option on here and you can do that. And then if you wanted to, you can click reset, but we're going to click around and then we've got our image and we can just click add that to the design. Okay, we've now added that to the design, but let's say we wanted to just have a selection of this. And this is why I like this, because you can then be able to actually crop images on an angle or however else you want. Because once you've actually added that to the design, you can then still come over to the background remover. Okay, I'm not adding that in there as an app option. We're still going to have other apps, but we can add this in there as a background remover option. We can then come on here if we wanted to, edit that. We can then, if you wanted to, you can add a shadow on there, and then you kind of like have a little bit of fun with it, and you can kind of like maybe add a little bit of a fun kind of like sticker option or something like that. But you can then crop on angles and you don't have to worry too much about like being able to fit the element in. But that is Choppy Crop. The next app I want to show you is called Color Mix. So with our image selected, we're going to click on edit, and then this right hand panel pops out, and down under the apps section here there's one called Color Mix. Okay, this is a little bit of a different area, and then under here you're going to have different options. You're going to be able to take the image back to none. You've got like a rainbow option, you've got a marmalade, or anything else like that, and you can still play about with all of these. So you've got these adjustment options. These are just some of the preset options that you have under here. So you've got like a full rainbow option on there, and you can still then change the saturation. So you could, you know, add a really cool kind of like rainbow kind of gradient effect, I guess, on that one. And then you can also change the amount of rainbow that you want on there, and also offset the rainbow and move that around. Once you click save, that's your image saved. Again, it's going to add it to your uploads section here. So you can see on here, it's actually added it to our upload section. So we've still got our choppy crop, but we've also got our rainbow option on there. And what that means is that we can then still come over and we can actually remove the background of this. So you can remove the background before, or you can remove the background after, up to you. You could then, if you wanted to, even still come and probably use like choppy crop and apply that to this image. But that one is Color Mix. Have fun with that, have a play about with it. And as I'm searching for these apps under the App Store, if you see any apps that come up that you'd like me to use, let me know down in the comments any of them that you'd like me to show you or demonstrate, or anything else like that. Let me know down in the comments. I'd really like to dive in and show you some more of the apps inside of Canva and figure out how to use them together. App number 3 that I want to show you is called Trippy. Okay, so we're going to come over, we're going to select on our image, we're going to click edit on our image, and then this one again is down in the apps option here. These are some of the apps that have been missing from Canva for a while, but they've now come back. So we're going to click on Trippy, and then you can see these are created by Photomosh. Okay, and it gives you, if you've not used the app before, it'll give you this little kind of like introduction telling you a little bit about the app, and you just have to click open. Okay, and once you click open, it's then going to give you the options. Okay, again, we've got some presets in here that are pretty trippy. I really like some of the effects on here. Okay, and you can come in and play about with those. You can change the RGB shift amount, okay, and the shift angle of how you want that to add on there. You can add in a little bit of jitter in there if you want to, and also this solarize. I'm not quite sure what that's doing, but it's a pretty trippy. It's quite an apt name, I think, on this one. So again, that's the kind of like app. You can come in and change the app options on here. So that's the app Trippy. And again, this, as it says it up here, Trippy's successfully uploaded it to your upload section. So it's uploading the effect to your uploads section, and you can still come in here and then just go over it again if you wanted to. So you can, once it's uploaded, you can come in and then still upload those options on here. So that's app number 3, which is Trippy. App number 4 that I want to show you again is in this section here, and we just click on the edit option, and we're going to come over to apps, and we're going to come over to slice. Again, this one is a really fun one to play about with. Okay, we've got just kind of like it kind of like slices the image up and kind of like shifts bits side to side. Okay, so you can come in and you can play about with the offset. We can play about with the count, so how many lines you want to actually add in there, and you can change the position of this. So again, so there we've got some really cool ways that we can play about with this. You can change the way the lines look, the number of lines on there. Okay, so you can change the position. And I think it's good sometimes to make sure that you can kind of like get the eyes on the same line. That really helps. But again, it's a really cool effect to have a go with and play about with. But that's app number 4, slice. App number 5 is also in this section here. We're just going to come over to the apps, and we're going to click on screen. Now this is a really cool kind of like retro kind of like style look. I really like this. It's, what's it called? It creates like it's like a newspaper type effect, if you like. Okay, so you're going to click on that, and it gives you this kind of like polka dot kind of like effect. I can't remember what you actually call it, but again, yeah, halftone. There you go. Gives you this halftone effect. That's the phrase I was looking for. So again, it's a really kind of like cool thing to play about with. You can change all of the sliders on here, the amount that you kind of like cut it out. So, you know, you can kind of like come in, play about with their halftone amount. Okay, so you can whack that all the way up. Play about with how, oh my word, my eyes are going crazy just looking at that. Click on save, and then you've got your background there, or your image edited. Again, it's added it to your uploads section. So if you want to come in and add that again, you can do, and you can play about with that. And if you wanted to change the color on this, you could do, so you can come over to say duotone and change the color on that to any of these, and play about with that. I think that's a really cool effect. I really like that effect. I would love to find out how you're actually using these. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow at Better Content Creators. If you're using any of these apps and creating some amazing designs, I'd love to see what you're creating. Tag me on there. Go and give me a follow over there on at Better Content Creators. And also, whilst you're just taking a pause for a moment, if you make sure you click like on the video if you're finding this really helpful and useful. And if you're not subscribed so far, then do consider clicking that subscribe option down below. App number 6. And I don't know what I'm going to do when I get to app number 12. I'm going to have to take my shoes and socks off. App number 6, we have got Bad TV. Okay, so I'm going to come over to edit, and the place to find the Bad TV app is down in this apps section again down here. Okay, and again we can just click on these. This is why I really like these apps on here, because you can kind of like just play about with them. You've got an old VHS, you've got an old warp, so you can kind of like play about with it on image like this. You could think like maybe you've got like some kind of like text. So let's just come over to the photos options and add some text on there. Let's say you've got this Black Friday text, okay? So you could come over and you could click warp on that, okay? So there you go, you've got that. And then just click, make sure you click save. If you're not seeing save on yours, you might have to scroll down a little bit, okay? But you could play about with the warp option there, or on images, again, you can play with the warp option or the bad TV, and you can play about with all these to kind of like decide how warpy you kind of want it to look and feel. Again, make sure you click save. You've got that option on there as saved. If you do want to, you can click on the background remover. Okay, we'll then come over to edit, and you can still then apply these options on here. So if we go to the bad TV, okay, so you can apply the bad TV even to a cutout image on there. So again, that's really cool. I really like these apps, and it's thinking about how you can actually mix the apps up together. And I've got a really cool video coming next week on using a mixture of these apps together to create a really cool effect. So if you've not subscribed right now, make sure you do click subscribe, turn on the bell notification icon and all that, and you'll be notified when that video comes out next week. If you're watching this in the future, I'll link it down below in the description and up in the card up here for you. But yeah, next week, and also if you're a channel member, you will get early access to that as well. Okay, so number 7 is the Liquefy app. Okay, I'm still thinking of how I'm going to do 12 fingers. I'm going to have to get AI to add in some fingers. Okay, we're going to come over to the apps section over here with our image selected. Okay, and we're going to click on Liquefy. Okay, again, I've played about with this one a little bit today, but we can play about with the Liquefy app. And this is really cool for, again, for images, or you can add in there, say like some text. You wanted to kind of like add a liquefied text to your image. Make sure we're clicking on the actual image. Okay, we're going to click on Liquefy. Okay, and it's going to come in and play about with that. Again, just play about with kind of like what it looks like. You can go really wobbly, or you can dial it back and dial it back, so you can only get a little bit of a melty kind of like look. So that's how you would do that. Oops, I forget to click on save on that. Okay, make sure you click save on all of these. Okay, so there you go. That's playing about with the Liquefy option inside of Canva, either with text or with our image here. So we're going to click on save on that one, and that's going to be our Liquefy effect. The next app I want to show you, and I did do a video on this a couple of weeks ago, is the Mockups app. So I'm going to come over to the apps over here. We're going to click on the search bar here, and it is a popular app, so you will probably see it under the popular apps option here. Okay, and you can search for Mockups on here, and that's going to bring up the Mockups option. Okay, in here you've got all sorts of like popular mockups. You've got video mockups, which is the video I did a couple of weeks ago. I'll link that up here for you if you want to have a look and check out that video. But you've also got all sorts of frames, outdoor options. So let's say we wanted to put this guy on a billboard. So we're going to click and add that billboard to our design. I'm just going to drag this down so that it's there. Move that to the background, and then all you do to add an image into here is you literally click and drag that image inside of your mockups. Now we can see we've got a little bit of a white border for the top and bottom. If you double click on the mockup, you then get this kind of like additional options inside of here. So we can actually click on fill. Okay, that's not going to work. Why is that not work? We're going to click on smart crop. Okay, it's apply changes. There we go. If I clicked on fill, that would also work. I was realizing I had to click apply changes. See, even sometimes things in Canva catch me out, but we can also do smart crop. Okay, and you can play about with this. You can rotate this and decide how you actually want that to fit inside of your design in Canva. Okay, and then we click apply changes. Okay, and we can see we might want to like lift that up a little bit. Okay, apply changes. You can see as you can still play about with it, so you can make sure that that image fits inside of your mock-up perfectly and how you want it to. Now the next one isn't actually going to edit your images, but it is an app, and we're going to come over to the apps section over here, and this one is called Voice Studio. Okay, it's just here, it's under the featured option as I'm recording this, but if you don't see it, you can just type in Voice Studio. Okay, I'm going to click, we can see it has this kind of like little icon here. There's all sorts of other AI voice options that you can play about with in here. This one is called Voice Studio. I particularly liked this one. You do get only access to 2,000 characters with your plan inside of Canva. Doesn't say if that resets each month, but if you do want to get unlimited access, you can get unlimited access. It gives you the warning about leaving Canva. Okay, and then you can come in here and you can play about with it in there if that's something you want to play about with. But I found it really cool to kind of like just play about with these, and you've got all sorts of different voices.
Yes, it is a big achievement to be accepted into the Microsoft Startup.
Okay, and you can click on see all, and you've got all sorts of other voices. So whether you're from the UK, you want English Philippines.
Let's meet tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Okay, you've got all sorts of other options in here. It's not just English. You do have other options in here. So you've got all of your 154 languages that you can play about with in here.
Hello, please subscribe if you'd like to.
App number 10. And this is the next one I'm going to need extra fingers. App number 10. And we're going to have a look at an app called Tracer. Okay, this one is over in here. Okay, we're going to come over to Tracer, type that in here, and it's this little kind of like fountain pen, would you call it, option. Okay, we're going to select the image, trace the selected image. Okay, and then inside of here, we can then change the threshold of what we want that to look like. I want somewhere in between. Okay, and then we're going to add that into our design. Once we've added this to the design, you can actually play about with this. So you can change the color of this if you wanted to. And what would be quite cool, I guess, is if you kind of like split this up, and you could kind of like maybe like offset it in a way, have a go about with cropping that. Okay, so you can have a play about with cropping it. Two more apps that I want to show you. So app number 12. App number 11. This one's called Gradient Fonts. So we're going to come back to the apps section over on the left-hand panel over here. And this one, as I say, is called Gradient Fonts. Gradients Fonts. Okay, this one's really cool to play about with. You've got all sorts of fonts inside of here. You just type in your text on here. So let's say we wanted to type retro. Okay, we can then change the font that we wanted to have on here. We want something that's going to show a little bit of a gradient in there. Okay, we're just going to type that one, and you can see we're building this up. We can have all sorts of retro rock. Okay, so you can change the alignment of this. Okay, you can see as the text or the image is changing down here, so you can change the alignment of how you want that to align. I'm going to go with center aligned, and you can change the line height as well. So if you wanted to have them clashing together, you could do. We're going to have them there. You can change the gradients. You can click anywhere on here to change the gradients and add in any colors that you want in there. So if you wanted a really random green color in there and maybe like a pinky color in here, you could do, and you can move these about all around. You just drag, swap them around. Let's say you wanted them to look like that. Okay, I'm going to click on that. You can also, on these, you can change the color as well if you've got a hex code. So if you know your brand's hex code, you can add that in there as well. Okay, and then what we can do, we can either have this straight up and down, or you can grab these little nodes on the side here and move these around. So you could have just kind of like, you know, if you wanted it just on the word retro, you could do, okay, or you can pull it all the way across and have that kind of like really cool effect on here. And then you just click add to design, okay. And if you get that added to your design and you think like, I'm not sure if I want that, you can still come about and edit this here. So let's say we wanted to put the green on this side and the pink on that side, and equal out a little bit more. You come in here and you can just click on update elements, and that's going to then update the element that you've already added. So that's gradient text and fonts inside of Canva. App number 12, and this one is called Frame Maker. If you've seen this before, there's a couple of little tips and tricks on using this that I want to show you that I don't think other people have shown before. So we're going to come into Frame Maker, click on Frame Maker, and it's this first one here. Now if you're looking at creating custom frames inside of Canva, this is something that you're going to absolutely love. I'm going to just duplicate that again. We're going to click on Frame Maker, and then inside of here you can change and move this around. If you want to add an additional point, you just double click. You can see it says under here, just double click, and you can add in there something else that you want. So you can really kind of like play about with this. And let's say you wanted fewer dots, you can do, or you can get up to 20 columns and what have you inside of there. So you could kind of like get really granular in here if you wanted to. Have a little bit of a play about, move them around, double click to add your items on there, and really kind of like play about. And I think if I just double click on that, okay, we're going to play about with this. Okay, that one, we're going to click add to design there. You've also got some predefined shapes on there if you wanted to, but this one, we're going to just click that, add that to the design. Okay, and now inside of here, we can just drag our guitar guy onto there, and you can see he doesn't quite fit inside of our frame there, so we'd have to play about with that and try and get him to fit about in there. You can double click on this like you can with any other frames, but you can see it doesn't quite fit. I have done a separate video on fitting your image into a frame inside of Canva, or if it doesn't fit like this. So if you wanted to kind of like add extra space, you can use Magic Expand. I've done a whole video on that. I'll link that up here. If you're using any of these apps inside of Canva, I'd really love to hear how you're getting on using them. If there's apps that you're using that I've not recommended here, let me know down in the comments of any apps down there that you'd like me to demonstrate or have a play about with, or that you really like enjoying. But until next time, thank you very much, and bye for now.